Good morning, Camille. Good morning, Noah. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Hope you have your coffee ready and your patience belt on, right? Our patience belt on. Patreon members, we did put out a little video this morning. We're just going to do a little bit more updates a little more frequently in this time. It's a very, very critical time, right? Understanding how we can actually get to here and still continue, understanding what happens if we get to there right away, understanding what this red line down here means. We talked about all that stuff on Patreon, but 570.10 to the downside is your second standard deviation for the SPY for the daily expected move. And notice it lines up to a very, very critical level. So something we were looking for was the next pullback opportunity where that rip would get sold and cause some kind of a dip that then could be a buy the dip kind of move here as we are in that type of environment, as we are getting a little bit excited to the upside, and as we did get some data. We did get some data this morning. We see the core inflation rate month over month coming in at 0.2, raising from 0.1. Not as bad as it could have been. Core inflation rate year over year, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8. Looks pretty concise across the board there. Inflation rate month over month, 0.2. Previous coming up a little bit, so not as bad as it could have been. Inflation rate year over year coming actually down just a tiny bit there. So very interesting. I would more so lean towards what mixed bag, which means paying attention to price action will be very important. And understanding that we were looking at 5-minute charts and this thing can remain irrational for longer than you can remain solvent, right? So if this wanted to, this could just trickle up to 590. And that brings us into our next point for the morning, which would be some put and call levels to be watching. As of right now, the put and call levels to be watching, serious confluence around that 590. 592. So we could see us reach all the way up to 590, but 585, we got to break through that first, or else we might be hitting these other critical levels like 570, where we want to see that line in the sand as well. So today, 590, huge level for the bulls and the bears to be paying attention to. If we do scale up and away like this, it's going to say, wow, do not get FOMO'd, right? The yellow line up here is what keeps you from getting FOMO'd into some kind of move, and that potentially will see a mean pullback. And that would be eventually, because you might need to make those signals at high levels to get that bigger pullback. But for the time being, the more likely thing to happen if the market is going to, remain somewhat, what's the correct word? Somewhat rational, I guess, would be, hey, this was a great move. What a gap up. We might need liquidity, so we might need to push this down. And if we want to push it down, we could just pull back to here and see that thing curl back up. But if we're going to need to actually grab some good liquidity, well, the buyers stepped in right here. So if we go down to that second standard deviation, I wanted you to have this line because this is a 95% line. Now, something we discussed over on Patreon was the fact that it wasn't lining up to be specifically great when you make, say, 30-minute divergences, right? But I think something interesting here would just be, do we trail this up for a little bit of time? And then we just see that as a 2-hour pullback going into the early stages of Wednesday. Then we see if we can curl back up, going all the way up into something like Thursday, Friday. That would be very, very interesting. So we'll be watching it for the time being, because the 2-hour chart, if we really time it out and say, okay, we're going to trail up, then we're going to see this slow leaking move down. Then we actually come into Thursday morning towards Thursday afternoon. We could see that spike up towards Friday and see this extend into next week. So I don't know the exact timing of it, but I would say that they want to end OPEX at a good level, right? Probably up towards something like at least 580, if not 590. So we're really just watching the direction for this. But when we talk about these things, that means that patience is a good thing. Shorting is still going to be more difficult in this environment. I think you're at the timing of where shorting can make sense, but you see how the market can remain more and more irrational as it ends up going in the upward direction, even with not the best readings here for the core inflation, okay? So what we'll be paying attention to is, do we actually get the opportunity, or does this trail up higher? I think shorts make sense. It's just very hard to short in this environment. Most of the plays that benefit you are bullish ones, right? Once you cross through this area, it's like, okay, bullish ones. This one here probably could have been an opportunity. Like, these can be opportunities. They're just very, very quick little moves. But more so than not, we're going to see more the easier time you're going to have is just when the 30 minutes able to curl in the upward direction, okay? So we'll be watching this stuff for the time being. It looks very interesting. I wanted to show off volatility. We did not talk about this over on Patreon, but volatility is starting to shape up that 30-minute divergence over here. And this is kind of why I'm suggesting, like, hey, the SPY doesn't have to make a divergence here. We could just reach down for that liquidity with some kind of 2-hour pullback, right? The 2 hour is getting dramatically lower, but you're finally seeing something down in these type of areas, right? For the 30-minute chart to turn back around. That could take more time to form as we try to go all the way down to 1683. What I would like to see for volatility, if this shows up for volatility, be a little bit on guard for the weekend, okay? I'm going to tell you something at the beginning of this video. Take it for what it's worth. It's an idea, really, of risk. And the idea of risk here is if you get that 2 hour to pull back, say now, right? We do this all the way into, say, Thursday, and then we turn down. Maybe it doesn't even go that big. Maybe it's just something like this, right? And we come down. Well, your MACD and your RSI are both going to have this kind of look to it. That's kind of like this, right? And if you see a curl up right here, that would be a 2 hour divergence here for volatility on your MACD, potentially on your RSI, all at the same time. So this is the way to kind of read into the future and use, say, volatility to give you that hint as we go down to what? 1683. Why is this a critical level? Because on the daily scale, I'm going to leave those drawings for now. We might leave those on volatility all day. On the daily scale, we could see the formation of head and shoulders here, some kind of right move that goes up, fills all these gaps. You get really worried, and then it just turns back down, right? And then we start that bull run into the summer. I think this would be how the market wants to behave. This would give you that sell in May and go away. Then in June, you figure your stuff out and you're able to curl back up, right? If this is exploding to higher levels, say we're actually crossing through 36, you really want to be on guard there. We really want to be on guard. And what we'll look for from the daily scale here is weakness. Weakness, just like we're doing right now. We are going to do the same thing right over here, and we're going to do the same thing for the SPY. If the daily chart, if we see all of this stuff take place and the daily chart needs to pull back, we could see that turnaround kind of moment here. Maybe we do something like this, right? But this would overall add up to, I'm looking for that potential 2 hour divergence kind of down at these type of levels towards 550. Okay, so I just wanted to put those ideas out there to start off the morning. As of right now, we're seeing upside, upside, upside. We can see that from the 5 minute, we are squeezing, right? We are squeezing. And the 5 minute, just look at that, still positive, curls up, positive territory, new highs coming. Okay. We're going to open up with a new high. I think today has the higher likelihood to fade personally. I don't know exactly where that fade would start, but it would say if the 5 minute chart does roll down here and then you see this low broken, you'd be looking for what? You'd be looking for, oh, and then we head down towards the end of the day. So this is how it would shape up. This would more lean towards the 2 hour just starting to pull back right now. If it's going to build up over time, you might see that wipeout kind of move, create something down here, and then head to the upside if we're going to create that 30-minute divergence. So hopefully you guys are having a good time out there. Hopefully the Patreon members, you appreciate the morning video where we just were talking about the second standard deviation and giving some ideas. We're giving out some of those ideas right now. In the Patreon video, we actually talked about the potential trade opportunity and how I would handle it down in these areas. So if you want to get that kind of insight of like the mentality of how to do things, it is a little bit different than waiting for things to come up, right? You're more doing some kind of risk to reward type position. We talked about that further and further on Patreon, even suggesting potential stops at critical levels. So thank you guys for being a part of the Patreon, but thank you guys for showing up to the live show every single day, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. You guys are fantastic. And I want to make sure to put the alert box back on because we turned that off for the video. All right, good morning. Let's do this, says Martin. Let's do this. Holding cash, when's the pullback? Well, you would say the pullback would be in the next 2 trading sessions. The pullback is today or tomorrow, right? And it could extend into tomorrow, right? We could see it a little bit today. We could see the formation of structure to break down tomorrow, right? 30-minute does this, traps some bulls, then we curl down, then we see the break of that low touch on the daily expected move. We react back up to this type of level, then we see that roll towards the end of the day. And you could land in the daily expected moves and start out Wednesday going boom to the downside. Then you're actually able to create some reversal signals down in here. And by end of day, you start to see those buys come in and you start to make that move going into Thursday and Friday. I think it could be very interesting. Downvoting your stream until you return to Rumble. We will be returning to Rumble after May. We're just doing May for, and by the way, Rumble is in the afternoon. So every single morning we're here on YouTube, but in the afternoon towards the power hour, the closing hour, we are live on Rumble, but we're more so doing that for this month here on YouTube, okay? So after May, we will be switching back to Rumble for the afternoon stream. Hoping you can see 590. 590 is a level that we literally, you could just trail this all the way up to that move. I think that is very risky. I think at that point, that's very bullish, right? But this could just be a retest that wipes everything out at that point. I don't really like this. I want the market to continue to show good structure, right? I want the market to continue to show good structure throughout this move. This is how we really end up in that upward direction towards Friday. Like if you drew it out, something like this is exactly what you want to see. You probably don't want the 5 push lower for like the 5 minute here, but you know, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not some Elliott wave guy or anything like that. I just understand, like, I'd rather see an ABC move to get down to these levels and then see the 5 minutes shape something up for me. But this is really how it would produce over time. We'll see if it shapes up because right now you're continuing the squeeze by the 5 minute, just continuing to refuse to go negative here. So I think you're about to go into Trap City. I really do. I think you're about to see trap here or here, right? Either way, I think there's going to be a trap somewhere at this type of level. Then you're going to see that big ruggy or some kind of bigger pullback just to be like fearful. And then it's some kind of what? I think it would be some kind of bear trap at that point. Then you go up to these type of levels towards Friday. If you're at these levels towards Friday or Monday, I would say, you know, Friday, I would say be careful over the weekend holding calls if you're hitting highs. And then Monday, I would say look for the structure because there might actually be a short opportunity at that point, right? Even though we are positive gamma and you can head up, right? And the better decision in positive gamma is just wait for the dip and buy that rip, sell it, then buy it again. Just because you're in that environment doesn't mean we're not going to pay attention to pivotal points where shorting makes the most sense. This right now says, oh, we could just do this and then do this and then do this and then do this, right? So you can just remain up here. You don't have to come down to these levels. I think you're going to, but you don't have to, and that's the point. That's why it's not very good to say short, and you don't necessarily have the things you need. You know, maybe shorter time frame, you know, day traders, things like that. You might have the steps you need, the reasons you need. But for me right now, to take some kind of position going short for a few days, I would need to see us get to a critical level, and I would need to see some easy decision-making opportunities at those critical levels, and then watch that breakdown, watch that retest, watch that reject down, watch that retest, watch that reject down, right? Make sure everything's still going good. That's just managing the trade. That's trading like water, understanding, hey, I could be wrong at any point, but right now it's going right. It's good. We are also expecting Trump announcement about East acquiring semis, including Nvidia and AMD. Wondering if the expected fade will be countered by good news. So much good news. You know, I do believe sometimes good news is causing sell-offs because of grabs of liquidity. This market is very options oriented. So that's kind of the sad part. Even if you want to trade with, say, shares, you still need to know a lot of the options side of things and how we like to do things. That's kind of the unfortunate part about the market right now. The unfortunate part about the market right now is you can and you could probably ignore a lot of it, but I think you have so much more of an edge if you're paying attention to what the options market is pricing. That is why we have the weekly expected moves. Let's talk about that for a second. Look where we are. Look where we are. We are outside of the weekly expected move on what? On Monday, and now on Tuesday. Okay. This is very squeeze like behavior, but it is highly, highly suggested that you are at least going to see a dip down into this. The better time that to close outside of the move is towards the end of the week. Okay. And that's just the truth of it. If you do this and you're on your Tuesday, if you get to 590 today, be ready for a rug pull. That's what I would say. You have a 68%. Actually, at that point, you almost have a 95% chance to just see this close back below this. And you have a 68% chance to get a rug pull. I'm not playing with those kinds of numbers. I don't play with those type of probabilities, right? I don't mess around with it. What was CPI? We went over it at the beginning. It was slightly mixed bag. Like some things coming in even, some things going up 0.1, some things like coming in even from the previous, but not increasing by 0.1. So it's like right. It really didn't change much. If I'm being totally like, if you look at these numbers, these aren't drastic changes. You are seeing higher readings than previous sometimes, but look how it's flat. This one was higher. This one is technically lower, right? So you kind of have a mixed bag throughout all of the data here, kind of suggesting more so it's kind of a wash, right? So anytime there's a wash, I want to look for, hey, well, if we turn down or turn up, what's the news kind of saying about it? Are they trying to convince me that it's bullish? Are they trying to convince me that it's bearish? You know, wasn't here at the start. Oh, that's fine. We just went over it real quick, Willow. I started a little early today. Just got a 564 SPY notification. 564. What the hell? That's weird. Agree. Good structure. Let's go. Trap City. Trap City bit. Trap City bit. 40, 50. 20, 30, 40, 50 on a Henny bit. How you calculate the expected moves for the daily and the weekly. Kied, I actually give out the, you can go look up that calculation yourself. There's just a lot of, there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of like different places people pull data from. Sometimes I just suggest looking at Yahoo Finance for the strike for that first strike for IV. You can literally ask AI right now. It'll give you the calculation. It is not hidden by any means. Go look up, go ask AI, go ask Grok, go ask whoever. Say, how do I calculate those moves? It'll tell you the formula exactly, but there are mistakes you can make, right? And so for me, I think it took me like, I want to say 3 to 6 months, probably 3 to 6 months to one, test them, right? Show them every single week and see how price is behaving around them, seeing if it's helpful. It is, right? I figured that out. But then also figuring out how like accurate I'm being. And so you can only see that really with time, in my opinion. For the most part, these are going to differ from like think or swim type of moves. This is the actual real calculation, like in real time. And I do see it differ from think or swim. And people from think or swim have come in and said, actually, your levels are better, which is just fantastic. That's good. That's good. The real calculation should be better. Now, in the course, we do give you a very, very simple method to make a decently accurate weekly expected move. I used to use that method. So, and we teach you how to make it. So technically, yes, we give you a way to make those moves without having to pull all that data, make a spreadsheet, do all these things and calculate. No, you can literally click the button like 3 times. You click a button on your trading platform like 3 times around those strikes, and then you'll be like, okay, plus or minus this. So yes. Maybe you meant 584. 584 makes sense. If you break through 585 and you hold 585, then it's almost like, okay, yeah, we're getting to 590 today. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, the thing like Dubs took it upon himself. Dubs is a good example. He took it upon himself, and what he did was and I want you to do some work. Like I don't want this to be a page where you're just completely like not using your brain. Like I want you to use your brain even in those things like that, right? Learn how to calculate those moves, right? If you learn how to calculate those moves, you can come back to my channel, and Dubs did this when he was learning how to do it. Dubs came back and he said, hey, these are the moves that I got. What did you get? And I told him a couple of mistakes he was making because one of his moves was like here, but the other move was like way down here. And I go, something is wrong because this should be equally distributed, right? And we talk about what these moves actually are, right? We talk about that bell curve. Who liked that section of the course? Did you guys like that section of the course where we just go into so you can understand, like, hey, this is actually why it's a bell curve. This is why this is shaping up this way. This is why it's happening this way. Hopefully that portion of the course is helpful. It helps you understand what these actually are and why they hold as resistance and why you're not likely to see crazy things. And a lot of it is just due to options, right? Options, market makers, and Wall Street not wanting to pay people out, even though the big move is coming. They'll cause a pullback and a liquidity grab first a lot of the time. So what you'll see is like a lot of the time on like Monday, Tuesday, this happens. But then they're like, okay, so you would think this. Okay, you're experiencing a less than 68% chance move right now. You are. You're experiencing a 32% chance move right now. And you would think, okay, so that 32% chance move is just going to do this. And that's technically what could happen if the market didn't have all these options and it just like was straight up just order flow, right? People are going very bullish, so you would expect more bullish price action. But because of options and people taking bets down here, and especially probably down into here, right? There's probably some liquidity down in here. Maybe pull up your volume profile because you have a lot of confluence in here. So there's probably a big amount of orders. Well, then they're going to reach down and grab those orders and then show that thing turn right back up, right? And what gives you that hint? Well, the fact that you came outside of the weekly expected move, right? So if you continue to go outside of this, and let's say you go outside of the monthly expected move, well, now you have a 68% chance to do this. You have a 95% chance to use this as resistance, and you have a 68% chance to do this by the end of the week. This is almost like worst case scenario in my mind, unless we do not revisit past this level, right? The only way that this remains good for another push at this point would be for that to come back down into this type of area, use it as support, and turn to the upside and end outside of the move, right? So you see it gets a lot riskier here. It gets a lot riskier here. And that's the whole point. And understanding these with the bell curve, it's just a very good basic, like, it'll seem so simple, but once it makes a lot of sense, you just have a lot more confidence in what's going on. This is why I have good, like you would say, for the most part, I have pretty level-headed, I would say, opinions about the market most of the time. I'm not that guy that's always saying, yes, we're going to absolutely smash through the floor. I'm always like, yeah, this is what you see when you smash through the floor. Look for if it holds up right here. Right? This is what you see with a double top to go maybe break this low and break this low. Okay. But the main thing is the environment of the market right now is bullish. You're curling down to this type of area, but we're outside of that move, so a pullback seems very likely. So look for something like this to happen. Yeah, it's very nice. Thank you for asking, because weekly expected moves are something to, if you're going to watch this channel, watch it for a while, you'll start to understand these moves a lot better. Let's see what Nvidia is doing now. Let's go see. Nvidia has done some crazy things from these type of levels. I'm just going to be honest. Nvidia has done, we've experienced crazy things from Nvidia before with these type of moves. So this move right here, it reminds me a lot of what? It actually reminds me a lot of this move right here, where you go up into potentially even the next area where that could pose to be a problem. So we could see some big things from Nvidia. And I would just say this, if this is going to continue and just be straight up like this, just be aware that earnings is coming up. So if you're in this move and you see this, what do we call it? The get out of jail free card, right? I can take almost all of my risk off. I can just take myself and go, I'm just going to hold cash. This is a great trade. Now I'm going to go into cash. We have earnings, and that's a lot of like risk. There's a lot of 50-50 flip. They could rug pull it in one day and then shoot it right back up during the same day during earnings. That can happen for Nvidia. Okay, so it does remind me a lot of this portion. And I think soon, if not like now we might experience, not now, sorry, in the next few trading sessions after OpEx, I think we might experience some kind of spike down. So when's the opportunity for Nvidia? It would be a 2-hour pullback. A 2-hour pullback would be the real opportunity here, which means what? Most likely a retest of what? 114.45. A retest of 114.45. Now, this can remain very crazy. This can remain very crazy. But overall, if you're not losing this, there's no danger to the downside. What you want to see is this is a zone now. Just make this little area here a zone. And then what you want to see is that come all the way down into it and turn up. That would be fantastic. If you look at the 30-minute chart from this perspective, you might be paying attention. Like this would be a shorter, like day trader type of look. The day trader might be looking at, hey, how does price react around here? How does price react around here towards that gap fill? And so for this week, I would actually be looking for this potential. Actually, yeah, I think Nvidia might be 116. Let me look at the levels. Yeah, I would still be paying attention to in here, actually. I think that would be a great pullback. If you get price down to this type of area, look for the signs maybe in the 5-minute, look for the signs maybe in your 30-minute being close to that center line to say, okay, reward, risk, right? Because for now, you're just seeing more and more upside. Fantastic for Nvidia. So you have to be like, okay, I'm not chasing now. Maybe after OpEx, I can see something good. All right, SPY for the time being, turning to the downside. Looking at the 5-minute chart, we see that that is trying to cross up again into positive territory. I think today has a higher likelihood to fade than yesterday, personally. So we'll be watching for it. Oh, shit. I didn't pull any of my crap up. I've been up. I made the Patreon video. I literally have been trying to update you guys as much as possible. 116 would be a solid level, I think. Hello, Skynet. So true. Skynet will tell you what you need to know. Let's see here. 116 GME. GME for the most part. GME for the most part, doing what it needs to do, right? Doing what it needs to do, doing what it needs to do, doing what it needs to do. You see the daily scale starting to turn up here. This is a very good sign. This is a very good sign for GME. The fact that it almost lost the critical levels, right? That box down here, it almost lost that. That was crazy to me. But you saw that just break through the top side again, which gives you a lot of confidence in saying, okay, for now, the price action isn't saying downside anymore. We'll look for the rejection from the previous zone. We never got that rejection. So that's fantastic. And now you're trying to do what? You're trying to at least show a pathway higher by making a new high. And I think you already did, which is fantastic. So this is really good for the daily time frame. This is actually really good for the 2-hour time frame, but you can see how we would want to make structure. But this is great. So if you make structure, this is actually really good because even if this stops and pulls down, you've shown the way higher. You showed that price or algorithms want to take it higher, and then you look for that to turn back up, either from here or more likely actually from right in here. So you're looking for this or this for a pullback, but if it doesn't pull back, then you want this thing to just start screaming, right? You want this thing to just start going. 0.8%, nothing to be too crazy about. I don't think this is cup and handle. I think you're looking at potential liquidity grab into this type of area right here, which equates to about 27.50 all the way down to 26.90. Left a little gap behind. Very nice. I will have volatility on my other screen. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Look for timing. Let me get some timing up here for volatility. 30-minute continuing to break down. Actually about to violate divergence, so. Yeah, you just don't see the thing. I think, man, this thing might just continue to squeeze. Yeah, you just don't see things too clearly from volatility is just not your hint. See if we can find hints somewhere. Rates still remaining at elevated levels. Dollar backing off. Remember the dollar. The dollar's your friend, right? The dollar's your friend right now. If that's positive, that's a good thing. If that's negative, that's a bad thing, technically, for the time being. Okay? As of right now, the dollar, the most likely thing was pull back, and now it's pulling back. The SPY, the most likely thing is pull back, and it's not pulling back yet, which means this has a high probability to be a trap during retail hour. My shorts are looking great. Hey, congratulations, Nicholas. That's always nice when that chunk of news comes out for you. Hopefully you had a good confirmation there. For Tesla, Tesla up towards that 320. Once again, I still would like us to pull back before 328.50. Okay. You have a weekly expected move that you keep like pretty much bonking your head on. It's right above you. You're not seeing anything crazy for the week yet. It would be fine to reach up to that area, but if you reach up too fast, I think you're asking for this. If you can curl down right now, you might just come down into this, right? We might not need to go into this zone. We might not need to fill this gap. So what I'm looking for is, does Tesla actually pull this back now? We see something awful, see a nice dip, then we see that thing start to rip. I think this would be a great thing to happen. That might be on the 2-hour time scale, by the way. This might be on the 2-hour. 2-hour divergence is not there for the RSI, and MACD is starting to violate, so it's flat. So a 2-hour, we literally could see a 2-hour just bleed for a while here. Ooh, you might need to come into that zone on the 2-hour scale. So we'll see how it shapes up. Tesla's kind of being a beast right now. You're moving sideways, so pulling back with time. If you continue to do so and you get that confirmation like you are now, the probabilities start to lean towards here as far as like structure and price. What you'd like to see is at least see one of these wicks try to reach up for a higher level. That would be a nice thing, because for now, on the short time frames, you're really doing well. You're showing you want to potentially go higher, okay? But it might be a squeeze-like moment. So you create kind of a little mini zone down here, right? You always pay attention to those lows because that can turn into support. And then you see this do what? Kind of leak into that area, and then you curl up. That's not a bad thing. It's just it's in dire need of a 30-minute pullback. So I think chasing this last 8 points for now, like if I'm making a position right now, I just think that patience is the better opportunity for a lot of stocks out there. That's how I would put it. Like especially for something like Amazon, right? Like, yeah, I want to buy this on the 30-minute. Yeah, I want to buy this on the 2-hour. Let's go look if that works out. What level are we at on the 2-hour RSI? We are at, let's just create a line. Okay. Okay, so 84.20. The last time you dinked your head just above that. Okay, so you did see it continue for a brief moment. You were right here when you tagged it. Notice what happened once you got to those levels. Oh, what's this, guys? You guys know what this is. What is this? Come on now. Do I need to draw it? Do I need to draw it? This is kind of what we're looking for into Friday, actually. This is what we're looking for the SPY on Friday. That's actually really funny. But yeah, notice when you make this, it's usually not a good sign on the 2-hour scale. When you make this, right, it's usually not a good sign on the 2-hour scale. And guess what? You're at that point right now where you could start making that. So yeah, day traders, you're in a bullish trend. You can keep doing it. We could do it for a while, right? You can see that go whoop, 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 or whoop, 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 whoop. But this is where it starts to get like choppy, build liquidity, and then you probably see a big drop. This is why I'm suggesting watch out after OpEx. It's very bullish right now, but you can't say like this is a great time to maybe invest if you're like, hey, I was waiting for, breakouts and stuff like that to invest. Interesting. I would have invested with the daily divergence, right? As far as options goes, if you played the daily divergence, this trade is definitely done. That needs a pullback bad. All right, let me go look at some stuff. All righty. So we can go into 5-minute charts here. Looks like we're trailing up right now. Everything is slow again. Yeah, so CPI numbers, just to run through them really quickly for you, Doug. And thank you for joining, Doug. Be safe out there, all right? Eyes on the road, eyes on the road. Core inflation rate month over month, 0.2. Previous, 0.1. So we see an increase, right? But the consensus was 0.3. So you're like, oh, that's not too bad. But because it's a little lower than the consensus, but the forecast was 0.2. So you see how you're kind of right in that middle. You're kind of right there. Core inflation rate year over year, 2.8. Previous 2.8. Consensus 2.8. Forecast 2.8. Nothing unexpected there, right? We'll see how people read into it. Inflation rate month over month, just the inflation rate month over month is going to be 0.2. That is an increase from negative 0.1. So that's big, right? You're like, oh, that's an increase. But the consensus was 0.3 and the forecast was 0.3. So it's actually lower than what we expected it to increase to. Inflation rate year over year, 2.3. Previous was 2.4%. So actually that one came down 0.1%. And the consensus on that was it's not supposed to go down, right? It's supposed to be 2.4% or the forecast of 2.5%. Right, so you notice that we kind of have this kind of like right in the middle mixed bag type thing going on. Looks like we're going to extend the move though. I mean, obviously with that kind of big push, my goodness. That should extend the move. Okay, let's go look at some here. Maybe we can get some hints. I would rather that be a trap, like a FOMO trap, personally. I would love that to be a FOMO trap. Okay. In the middle. Yeah, Doug. Safe travels, bud, okay? Might just be driving to get coffee or something, but still, safe travels all the time. When is OpEx? It is on Friday. It is on Friday. So that's why I'm looking for the, like, they've kind of shown their hand. They want positivity into options expiration. That is the hand that I see shown here. And so what I'm looking for is where do they try to shake people out before Friday? There should be a moment this week. Now, if there's not, I'm still saying, hey, watch out. This could extend, right? But I'm not necessarily saying short, short, short. I'm thinking more if we see that on OpEx, it might be the opportunity to be like, all right, let's take a kind of risk averse type position if we see the signs, if we see the signals, if we see the weakness, right? And we'll mention that. We'll mention when the it's showing, but pretty much what you're going to be using is your skills from the full technical analysis course. If you've taken it, you've known these things for a while, right? Chris and everyone like that, right? You know what to look for right here. Exactly. You're looking for divergence or a lower high, right? On say the 30-minute or better the 2-hour scale, right? This is my jam. That reminds me of Bo Burnham. This is my jam. This is my jam. I love my jam. He just has a jar of jelly. Gold, GLD, 2-hour. Gold still, I think, in that consolidative phase, right? So now you're at the bottom. So what's very likely to happen here for gold? Well, if gold is going to remain in this consolidation, that's going to start getting tighter and tighter. And then I think it'll break down, personally. I think gold will break down. But hey, you never know with these type of things. We got to be aware of the SPY and the structure. As of right now, gold should break down. But will it break down right now? Most likely no. Most likely from these type of areas, you're going to do what? You're going to see a push up. Okay, now right here, let's see. Gold on Thursday, May 1st. Hey, we saw that push up, okay? The dollar would potentially not like that, so the dollar dropping off. The dollar dropping off, if gold's going to go up and the dollar's going to go down, right? The dollar's going to go down. Well, does that mean good things? Are people investing into the United States at a higher rate right now? No, so we could experience a pullback technically for the SPY. If you look back, May 1st, when gold started to see some kind of uptick, right? Gold started to do this around May 1st. Boom, gold did that. What happened to the SPY? That is where we started to get that chop, right? We didn't necessarily have good things. So it can be an indication. I don't think they're directly, I wouldn't say directly correlated, but we're reading into kind of tea leaves at that point. And I don't think it's like a bad thing to do. It suggests like, hey, if people are running into gold, it might not be the best thing for assets like stocks. Yeah, single mom just silent right now. Can't jump anything at this level. No. I understand risk to reward plays for, say, I actually think risk to reward plays for the pullback make more sense here, right? Look at that smaller position and then see if you get that pullback in the next 1 to 2 trading sessions. That could take all day today. Moment. Good run this week, not necessarily immediate, but I don't know. I'm getting confused. It just don't, if it's confusing, literally just be like, okay, what am I like? If I'm confused here and I don't want to trade, am I going to sit and watch this and watch it do this and watch it? Like, here's the thing. Either way, you're looking for some time. It's like I could go away today and look on Wednesday and see if we're here. I could go away today and look on Wednesday afternoon if we're here. Like, I literally could just go enjoy my freaking life for a little bit and just wait and be patient. I don't think that's a bad thing, right? The whole point, if you're wanting to be a trader, at least for me, the whole point of trading for me was I don't like working for other people. I like working for myself, right? So I like the fact that I can take a position, be very confident with a golden setup, leave my charts for 3 days, come back and sell the position. I don't do that as often now because I have, you guys, I hang out with you guys every day. So you usually see me reacting a lot quicker, especially when we hit critical levels or I like the money, but that's perfectly fine. Usually I'm holding for 2 pushes. This channel has more made me into more like, hey, I just kind of get out when the percentages are good and I get the benefit of time. Best time to FOMO those 0 DTEs. I did hear some things about coin, Dave. I did see that. I think the crude oil. Oh yeah, how's oil doing? Remember oil? Let's see if oil's turned around yet. Remember when we looked at that a week ago? Remember the daily divergence? Oh, look at that. There you go. We were talking about it, I think just right down in one of these 3 bars. It might have been just after. It might have been like here. Looking, I know we called it out and said, hey, confirmation, or at least look for confirmation. It was around this time period. But the good part about this, it's good to be aware of oil. Okay, so oil. Why is oil going to scale up dramatically all of a sudden? Why is oil about to see a weekly curl up? Or is this signal going to fail? Right now, this says oil is going to make a move to where? This says oil is very likely to make a move into here. Right there. That is where oil is very likely to try to get to. Notice that it adds up to what? The very tippy top, right? If you break through there, what you want to see is, hey, how does oil make a positive trend here? How does oil really get going? Well, it gets up to here, maybe even breaks through, then dips down, then curls back up. And look, boom, boom, boom. Look how it lines up. Super, super good for oil now. Remember, but here's the thing about oil. Remember, we were making those 4-hour signals here. It rotated up and then it failed. So look for the failures as well. But this overall for oil says that oil is going to be maybe in an uptrend soon, even on the weekly time frame, because this weekly isn't just a random curl up. It has daily divergence. So pretty much what's being said here is the daily is going to attempt to go into a positive trend. So you're looking for something like this into this, show the pathway higher by making a new high, then you dip all the way down into that area, then you start to scale up. That would be the best way for this to head higher, in my opinion. So oil looks good. Can't hate on oil right now. It looks like, right, this is kind of the stage that's kind of awkward because it looks bad, but it's showing signs that it could be really good soon, right? Yeah, whether you like it or not, oil's been going up for like 4 days, 5 days. Actually, pretty much like 2 weeks. It's not going up like insurmountably insane and popping off, but it is going up. And yeah, it's kind of like Willow's probably pointing out something. Let's see here. Let's see. Considering all the news, oil isn't going up. Yeah, sure. James Warnock, thanks so much for subscribing this morning. Appreciate you being here. Need AMC to fix itself? You do need AMC to freaking fix itself, dude. It's doing good, but look where it reaches into. Look where it rejects from. Again, another reject. Hold on. Uh-oh, we have the pathway higher possibly here. All right, you could experience a 2-hour pullback here. 2-hour pullback. If the 2-hour can get going here, that would be a great thing to try to go test into this center. Okay, this is a higher high than this wick over here. And I know that's kind of like a random point to pay attention to, but I like it when the structure kind of cheats a little bit. The algorithm goes bink, right? It kind of peeks its head up. This is more just a price action talk. That means if you create structure here, this would be a very, very good thing. This means where do I want to react into? We did lose that. Hold on. Oh God, see it. It's so like freaking screw AMC. Honestly, price action is difficult with AMC. I mean, let's just show why price action is difficult for AMC. I mean, come on. How many times does this like show the pathway lower, then just see a buy come in, then go up, and yeah, it just sucks because you can't really you can't do a great job of reading into price action here, in my opinion. I'd be looking for the 30-minute pullback to try to curl up. You might create that divergence down here, see a 2-hour drop down. Then you might see that thing try to make the move higher. If this is going to behave like a normal stock, I think AMC is the stock that is not normal. Everyone talks about GME being rigged. GME you can read into to a T. Like price action, we read into that. It was good. We needed to turn around on a 2-hour. We did. It was good. We had 2-hour divergence and the daily curled down and gave you that daily pullback. It did. It's good. AMC is like daily signals usually produce positivity, and that's about it. Daily higher low, right down in here. What was it? Oh, if I don't do that, that was wrong. See how daily divergence is in here. They didn't even play out why it's not on the RSI, but once you make it down into here, you finally see a run. Then you fail it, you still go negative. Then down here, you make like that 2-hour higher low, boom to the upside, right? And you actually have the divergence point across, like all the way from here to here. And I think you have weekly divergence down here. So it's like, unless you have a big time frame divergence, I wouldn't be paying attention to it. So why am I paying attention to AMC now? Because it has a big daily divergence. I hope daily momentum takes off for it. That would be fantastic. I think this is the best shot you have at seeing a big move, is you see that daily divergence. Like you have a quadruple on the MACD and one solid one with one trailing over here if you extend it, but one solid one in the near price action. And if you were wondering, yes, that is divergence. And it didn't show you the pathway lower. This is why this is like the best AMC has looked for a big reversal into a positive trend in a long time. In a long time. Am I happy with the price action from it? No, and I'm invested in AMC, so frickin' AMC. Position size is everything, right, guys? So in other words, AMC to $1. I mean, it needs to see something. I genuinely think this, by the way. AMC needs to see something in the next like 3 weeks. If it does not see a break above $3 in the next 3 weeks, it's gonna probably get really, really freaking rough. I'm just being honest with that. That's how I think about it right now. I've looked at AMC multiple times in the last couple of weeks and just been like, man, this is a great signal, but it is just not producing positivity. Trending upward, thoughts? As far as yields go, I think you're just getting a 2-hour pullback. I think yields go higher. I think yields go higher. If you really want to take it in perspective, maybe not higher right now. They would have to do a lot of work to break down. So how the look is showing up right now is what? Well, this was the level that really turned down, right? We just took that back. What could we need? We might need that right shoulder that could have been. So you might see a moment like this. But ultimately, nothing down here is saying reversal. Nothing in the price action right now is saying reversal. Nothing from the 2-hour chart. Really, you have one thing saying maybe a big reversal is coming, but you have a lot of room here to figure your stuff out, even on the 2-hour chart. So this literally could go sideways, 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 pop up, pop back down, get that right shoulder that could have been, and start scaling up dramatically again. Like, I don't think this is the top for yields. If I look back in a couple of days and we've broken through this, I can start to see the plane, right? I can see how this would like to go down. And then you probably see a retest here and go down again. So I don't think yields are done. Even though TLT is showing interesting things and going down to a critical level for the month and filling the gap, I think it could go lower. I think the daily time frame creating this divergence is the only shot it has to turn around. It needs to turn around now. Like, if it turns around now, you have a shot of yields going down. I don't see that turnaround just yet. I really don't. I think we filled a gap and you have a chance for a bounce, but the 2-hour scale here, it's just not showing you the things you'd like to see, and you're not seeing those things from the 10-year for a hint. So if it would turn around, it would probably be based on some kind of event. Yeah, so you have to consider that with all these things. All right, we're seeing some slight upside here. How much time we got in this bar? 2.5. This is probably going to do at least one more push now. It's kind of YOLO looking. It's looking squeezy. It's still neutral, but looking squeezy. So with squeezes, we always want to kind of look for that tap into here, and then we curl up again, and then we'll watch out for a breakdown, right? But right now, what do you have? You have what? Well, you never saw the pathway lower here. This didn't give you the pathway lower, right? So it's going higher. And if it does that again, it's going higher. If it does it again, it's going higher. You're in squeeze times. This is why shorting can be very, very difficult here. All-time high above 6,500. When? When? You know? Where's the trade setup for that? Where's the trade setup for that? This is not the trade setup for that right now. I am very, very confident to say that you will get a daily pullback before you touch 600. If you don't, then that's your probably blow off absolute top. I would be saying, like, there is I would say maybe I don't see it. I do not see us getting there in one push like this. So give better information. You have to go deeper into it than just shouting out numbers, right? Because literally 3-4 weeks ago, everyone was shouting out 400, and I said, I don't see it. Now we're shouting out. I think 600 makes sense. 600 makes total sense. You could get there, but you can't tell me that 6,500 is just going to, what, we're going to do this? No, you're just not. You're just not. Like, you can't convince me. And that would be a trade I would miss out on, right? And I wouldn't be bummed to miss out on it. I don't disagree with the positivity and people saying positive things. I want to know how you're saying we get there, because that's what matters, right? I don't want to be one of those guys that just is, doing technical analysis, but missing every single opportunity. And opportunity is what you're looking for all the time. You're telling me that we have and someone just brought up liquidity, so this is great. You're telling me we have enough liquidity to break through all of this. We have enough liquidity right now. You're breaking through all of this. You're saying we have enough liquidity built up here, actually technically built up down here, to break through all of this and break through all of this and go all the way up to like a 10% move above 600. I mean, maybe if you start seeing M2 money supply go absolutely bonkers, maybe, but I don't see it right now. I see it later. I see it after a daily pullback, potentially, right? I see the bull run that can come in, say, June and July. I think 6,500 would, or 6,500 or 650-ish, we'll say, 650, 660, somewhere in there. I think you could hit that. Yeah. By when? See how I'll give you a time? See how I'll give you a place? I think you will hit that. By 2026. I think you will hit that in the first quarter of 2026. That's what I think. Maybe, actually, it'd probably potentially be second quarter of 2026. I think you could hit 6,500 by next May. Right? So for investing, that goes a long way. But a lot of people here like to do options. I like to do options right now. Right? The only investment I have is this bad boy. How's it doing? Ah, shit. No. I'm up. I'm up, baby. Woo! Give me the dividend. I don't think I bought it in time for that. Yeah, and what I'm saying is so Dave, I don't want you to misconstrue. What I'm saying is after the daily pullback, I see it. Okay, good. Okay, I see your second comment there. After a pullback here. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying after a daily pullback to do what? Grab liquidity. I think it's possible that we see good enough news that you see money inflow from elsewhere in. The dollar is not suggesting that you are going to go to 6,500 right now. If you were going to 6,500, the dollar would go like this. That's how I see it, right? Because you would need money from elsewhere coming into US dollar being invested into US markets. So I don't see it right now. It's fine to come in and give those takes, but it's just a very weak take. There's no analysis to it. There is no help with it. If that's your inclination, that is great. But why don't we actually try to help out the community and say why you think that, right? Hey, I think that in this area, we're getting a little excited before we're going to make the move to 6,500. Therefore, we are going to see most likely a daily pullback to grab liquidity that really shakes people out before a massive move to the upside where we see a blow off top in the summer of 2025, where we potentially make a new all-time high. Then we start to pull back with more of a corrective type of move throughout the fall. And then throughout the fall, we're going to figure our shit out. And then we're going to see that extend into 2026, where we are going to get to 6,500. That is a take. That is a take. You are not, like, even Tom Lee gives better takes, right? And he just shouts out a number a lot of the time. Your check. Well, it's because it happens. Well, it's all the time, right? I will say this, right? You know, it's kind of the reason that it's annoying to me when people don't give a little bit more of a take is because it sounds like YouTubers who are telling you the market's going to crash every single second of every single day. It sounds like the fire emoji, the fire thumbnail type people who just say, okay, yeah, they're right here, right? Hey, what is it? Yeah, triple divergence, we're gonna crash, right? And then we crash and they go, yeah, we're going to crash. We're going to crash. And then it starts going up and they go, we're going to crash. And then 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 we're going to crash. Like, you have to at least be giving, and maybe you have that information for yourself. Keep it for yourself, right? If you want to keep it for yourself, that's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, like, as an analyst, I think that is a very over exaggerated thing to say where you could be right, but you're just going to, get everything wrong in between if you think it's just going to go right now. Damn, Mark, that's pretty huge. Like, I just told you my take for, by the way, I just told you my take. Like, I told you 100% of my take, and we agree. We agree, right? But I don't want people coming in and saying 6,500 when we're seeing an uptrend, and all they say is that, and then someone gets excited in the chat who maybe is new to trading and says, "Oh, we have to go to 6,500." That's what I'm saying. Give a little bit more due diligence, guys, if we're going to be commenting those things. And this isn't to, I know I'm passionate about it, but the reason I'm passionate about it is because so many people get tricked into these things all the time by little comments like that, especially from YouTubers. So I know I'm going at a chat right now, but it's like YouTubers do this and I don't like it. So if my chat does it, I'm still not going to like it. Right? So I gave you my entire take for 2025 and 2026, by the way. I think we're going to see a pullback, a daily pullback after potentially sometime next week. I think it's going to start. And then I think you're going to see a bull run into the summer. And then I think around mid-July to late July, you're going to start to pull back and get a corrective move again, where people get out before they're able to see the run to potentially something like 6,500, which I think we will hit in 2026. Right? That's how this really shapes up over time, if you're really reading into the longer time frames. You think GME is good to buy if you understand the problem and you understand position sizing? Like, hey, if you're asking, why are you asking? Is it because you want to see some kind of squeeze? Well, this is exactly what you need to see a squeeze. And then you just have to consider your position size, the price, kind of like an investment. No, I appreciate you guys too, and that's why I'm going to get passionate about it, right? I'm not doing that to, like, I know someone's like, "Oh, we're going at the guy." I don't mean to go at you. I'm trying to say, like, what's the overall point is, I guess, like, I'm trying to say people get trapped from those type of comments a lot, and I respect my community. I respect you, right? And I know you're better than just shouting out a number. I know you're better than that. So say, hey, after a daily pullback and we grab liquidity, I could see 6,500. Even that, like something basic like that, is very good. GME, just position size, right? If this is going to go to $1,000, like everyone is saying, I don't think it goes to $1,000. I think maybe a run to like 100 makes sense. I don't think it goes to 1,000. If you're taking that into consideration, it would say, oh, okay, I could have a 3x without having to do anything. Maybe I just buy it and I invest in it and I just let that go for 5 years and see if it 3x's. Admit it, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's like, admit it, you're just picking on us. I was bullied when I grew up, guys. I was cross-eyed. I was very small. I played soccer. Everyone called me fairy from when I was in, like, I repressed it for years. So, like, I'm not bullying you guys. That is not my game. I literally repressed it until I was 22 years old, and then I had flashback moments all come back into me for a year, and I almost did something really, really bad after I lost my business, and that was a big part of it, right? That's why I take these things seriously, and if it's going to affect someone's decision making, I will clap back, okay? The funniest thing is, my wife was a bully. My wife was a bully, so she was a bully when she was in school, and she bullies me now. Oh, I got called much worse to Mad Dog. That's the PG thing to say. GME, I love this look, by the way. I like this. This is what you need to do to squeeze, by the way. Let's give you the level for GME. We haven't done that in a few weeks. Let's give you the level for it. GME, 29.54. You're almost there. Do they want this to happen? No. So why is this purple line so critical? Well, 29.54 is where you can start to run into problems. So if you're going to get that absolute blow off top, like people are, we just saw that mentioned. If you're going to get that, well, GME would soak up all of that liquidity if it squeezes here. It would soak up like all of it. I do not think I think initially GME and the market goes up together, that's what's happening now. And then I think GME will take over and the SPY will see some kind of dump during that time. Because liquidity issues are going to be huge around that time. You're going to see liquidity issues. You're going to have trouble getting filled a lot of the time. That's what I think. As of right now, just trailing up during the retail moments of the day. It looks like we filled gap, right? That's good. Nice. Nice, nice. We like to see it, yeah. What the hell? Pricing. Being weird. Okay. Cool. That yield, yeah, I saw that too. God dang. Filled on IWM? Nice. Not bullying you, but sit down. No, bullying is about intention. Bullying is about intention. I'm not trying to make you small. If I'm a boxing coach and you're kind of a smartass for a second, I beat the hell out of you for a sec to teach you a lesson. Is that bullying? Some people might say so. I wouldn't. I got my ass beat all the time. Yeah, I think we're gonna pull back now. Yeah, see, words are important. I say now. I'm like, I think we'll pull back. I think we'll see that 2-hour pullback. I think the 30 minutes getting overextended. I think this is very good. I think this is very good, right? This is how we hold up over time. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think we're leading into some kind of trap here, whether it's here for the 2-hour pullback or whether it's going to be up here for something a little bit bigger. Exactly how a bully would justify. Did you forget the part where someone was a smartass first? Willow, you bully me all the time. Better to risk to reward for the gap fill below than chase remaining upside in this squeeze. Do you make that assessment on expected moves? Yes, you would make that assessment from the weekly expected move upside here. You can see that at the right side of your screen if you want to see if we're at the upside. You would make that assessment here. That being said, you're in a squeeze moment, so just be cautious with it. I know it's not technical, but it feels like a trap. Exactly. I have the same bad feeling that I had yesterday, but we're still going up. Hey, I could have made more money off my calls. I'm open to being wrong. Yeah, that's fine to say, Jagger. That's perfectly fine to say. That's perfectly fine to say, Jagger. But in this area, it's like it's very difficult. Like as far as risk to reward type plays here, I would make sure to be like, okay, make sure you're taking into consideration the time it would take to get there. Make sure we're taking into consideration the position size. Weekly expected are always in purple. The monthly expected are always in yellow. I wonder if we could just like. Okay, well now we're I'll do this later, but that's your monthly top side move. The downside move is way down there. And we're still going. Nice. Let's keep going, dude. Let's keep going, bro. Oh boy. What a day. Can I do this? Wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they're pushing, man. They are pushing. This is why I was like starting to mention on Patreon this morning, like, hey, if we don't make the 30-minute divergence, watch for a mean drop. from the maybe even the 2 hour to back off. Like this can go the opposite way pretty quick now. See if that ever shapes up. That would be the time to potentially short, by the way, when you actually see something up here. You might see something here. Man, we might see something there, right? We blew past, what was it? It was 585, and then that says if we get through 585 and we hold it, 590 is on the table. So now you're going to look for, there's only one little shelf. That is here. One little shelf. But as far as the positivity goes, as far as the price action goes, this will be really hard to break down. Maybe we do something like this again. Look at this run up. Maybe we make a shelf now. And yesterday, searching for a bull trap confirmation. Market pumps on buzz. No real good news. I think the bull trap, I think you could see those little interweek traps soon. Those are going to be harder to catch, especially with this type of move. I think you're going to see it. You're not seeing it right now. I don't think it's a short opportunity, the pullback. I think it's still just going to be an opportunity to go long, actually. Now that we have separated ourselves dramatically from this area, I think it's more likely we just see us try to come back down into here unless we get the 2 hour to confirm down. It's running, though. Nvidia is running. Let's look at Nvidia. Let's look at the perspective here. All right, you are now with this last push, you are now outside of a monthly move. Oh gosh. Okay, I gotta do this. This is yeah. If you see Nvidia form reversal signals towards 129, be very cautious for the week. But Nvidia can see a really big extended move, another like 10 points or so, but that would be super low percentage. You are seeing something absolutely crazy for Nvidia right here. Just so you're aware, you are seeing a 5% moment right now for Nvidia. Oh my goodness. How much is this? This might be a risk to reward. Now it's going against it. What's the pricing at? Yeah, I think Nvidia may give a solid amount of distance there. It's great to build up, but you're gonna probably run. You should run into problems around 130. We'll see how it shapes up. That is a problematic area for Nvidia. If you are still long in Nvidia there and you're part of Patreon, look for. Did I put those out there? Make sure I did. I did. Okay. If you are looking at Nvidia and you still have calls, please go look at Patreon and go look at the weekly expected moves that we posted and look at the gray numbers. You have if you were able to hold through all that resolve, you had a fantastic trade. Wow. Wah wah wee wah. He just got 600 Billy. Woo! Oh gosh. Um, Violating this, we have the opportunity to make more signals. Watch for daily expected move today. 590, huge amount of orders there. Huge amount of orders there. I think Nvidia will close the gaps. The downside ones, eventually, yes. I think we will revisit. It's very extended. Yeah, I think we'll revisit gaps. Yeah, I think we'll revisit gaps. Now, this could go all, it could boom. It could boom up to here. This is that crazy trade. This is the absolute craziest thing that Nvidia could do, is get to there. And it has earnings, so it's going to be risky. Not till the end of the month. But yeah, I think those gaps get filled. I think these get filled. These, no, I don't think so. I don't think these gaps will potentially get filled. I can be proven wrong, but I would say these ones are likely to get filled. Netflix hitting its head on the 5-day. Bink. What you're looking for still from Netflix, where were you looking for that rejection? Well, you're actually looking at rejection potentially here. So yeah, you're looking for rejection here. If you don't, you kind of saw we broke down below this. We didn't break down below this, but we did break through here. This was your previous higher low. Then you go and make a new high. Make another new high. Very surprising to break down there, but very nice. That cut down low, roll it. So this could be potential liquidity grab now. What we want to see is how is the 2-hour behaving so far, confirming up. Watch this 2-hour bar throughout the day. If that remains positive, could be a little risky. Risky to take a short. This already backed off on the 2-hour. Notice this one backed off on the 2-hour, right? So this one can extend the move actually. But if you're really paying attention, you're going, okay, there's a zone here. All right, we're tapping into that zone. And now you can use that center point to kind of be like, okay, do we just reject off of that and make a new low? If you make a new low, you're looking for down in here. And if you cut that, right, then you'd be looking for the roll down to 1058. So use your little zones here. We're going to work on that video for you guys in the course, okay? We're going to work on it. And by we, I mean me. The run blew out one of my accounts. It's a run, dude. My shorting here is just so difficult. Plan the trade, trade the plan. If this dips on a 5-minute and then you see positivity again, probably somewhere around 585, right? You stay above 585, right? That's pretty damn bullish. If you stay above 585, or at least down in here, then you can extend up to here. I can smell it. I can smell it. I'm so happy. What a move. Nice job, Swifter. Spy puts are cheap right now. Just bought 50. Yeah, look at this. Going to the call side now. Dramatically to the call side. Jeez. Might start building a risk to reward soon. Pricing does not look bad. And then a big long towards 570 would be nice. Thank you, Justin, for the 5, by the way. And yeah, Netflix hitting 5-day. That's where you're looking for resistance. You're kind of looking in that zone now. Yeah, that's why I stay away from Tesla. I don't really like trading Tesla. I look at it. I just don't like trading it. Thank you guys for subscribing, by the way. Google pushing. We did have someone mention Google earlier. Google pushing, man. Ooh. Google is pushing. I would like to see Google get back up to 165 again. Oh, man. The daily curl down? Did it curl back up? We gave the 95% line last week. That was helpful. Ooh, it's curling up too. Wow. This would be insane. This would be quite nutty. Yeah, dollar's not showing it though. I will have confidence in my patience. That's what I will have confidence in right now. The SPY is GMEing. And what happens when GME sees a big upward move these days? What happens after that? Big downward move. I think your intraday pullback would still be 5-minute scale at this point. Like, I'd be looking for the euro close, pretty much. Tesla is my best play for some reason. That's great. I know, Google's really not doing the crazy things, is it? Oh, I'm hoping so too, Jake. I hope that for you, buddy. Now we're just holding sideways. Damn, this thing is just cooking. Cooking, cooking, cooking. This is why I reevaluated that 30-minute needing divergence. I looked for potential for, oh, we just keep going, big 2-hour trap. And then we see volatility start to kind of bounce back and forth. Bam, bam. That's how we could lead into like Monday or Tuesday. So maybe we run up into expiration. I highly doubt you just see a rug, like an absolute rug pull to just go wham. I think you would want to trap people maybe more before that. It's going to be interesting times. Looking at the 5 minutes, you're looking here for continuation. We would be looking for continuation at this point. You have one form of weakness that's really extended across, kind of like multiple point, but it's a 5 minute. So I would just suggest like, hey, it's going to continue until I see the signs of it breaking down. Needs to lose this. We need a dump. Then it needs to react. Need a dump. Then it needs to react. And that would just that I don't think that happens like right now. It's too positive. Thanks for saying that, Richard. Heck yeah, Richard. Let's go. How you doing, Richard? You keeping up with this? Are you trying to be patient right now? What's your move? Is your move the patient side? Foot off the gas a little bit as we hit to the monthly expected move? What do you think? I like subs. Short Amazon and Meta. I don't think we've looked at Meta. Wait a sec. Oh, god dang it. I don't forget Drew on the damn thing. Huh. I mean, you would like this into that, but this could be problems. Then you do this into that, or you hold up here in this little in here. You can hold up in there with the wick. See if you can do this. Then you curl up, remake those signals, cause the trap into the euro close. That might be interesting. Nice. Amazon, how's that look on 5? Still holding the divergence point. Like I said, today would be way more likely to fade than yesterday. Thank God for patience. I'm all in VIX calls. Let's go, Motor. Good luck, buddy. VIX looks like it wants to bounce in. Let me go check volatility on my other screen. I almost did the thing where my mouse bounces back and forth. I'm still looking at that 30-minute for volatility. It's still holding the signal, and it actually is seeing a reaction up. So I would genuinely believe, like, with what's going on, I think you need a rug pull moment, like, now. If you're going to trap people for 590. If you're not going to trap people for 590, we're just going to hold up better up there, then this would have to fail. So for volatility, let me pull it across. You do see a downward move. Not good tapering. This is not a very great signal, I would say, but it is something to pay attention to. No confirmation yet. Divergence on the MACD. Divergence on the RSI. No confirmations yet. It says the level we're at right now, a little bit risky. I don't think it is like a, if you like to play it back and forth, I get it. But I just think in squeeze times, it's a little difficult. Island top here. Potential, actually. Yeah. They suspended forward guidance. Yeah, that's what, remember we were talking about that with earnings? If they're going to be not giving guidance, it's kind of a risky thing. It's just another unknown that people will most likely price in. They'll read into it kind of negatively if they're saying, like, it's like, it's kind of like the politicians, right? When they're doing those interviews with Congress, if they refuse to answer the question, you kind of know the answer to the question. Nvidia needs a pullback. I got stopped out though. Nvidia is at a critical level right now where you are a huge percentage likely to see a pullback this week now. This is the area you have to be very aware of critical things, critical levels, option levels. And yes, Nvidia could extend to like 145, but that would be like a 1% of the 1% move. So if you're able to catch that, you literally should be like pretty filthy off of that position. You should be feeling good. I don't think you have exact conditions for island reversal. I think you would see this breakdown over time, unless they just want to, like, I think you'll see it more breakdown, and you'll see like a daily wick, right? So daily, I think you'll see like a wick. I think you're more likely to see something like that than you experience that downside. But being patient, I could literally, like how I'm going right now, the patience that I'm doing, I could literally walk away from my computer for a day and a half and then come back and see what stocks look like. I think we're looking at 328.50 for Tesla. We're looking at 328.50 for Tesla. How it gets there, it tried to right there. I think you still need at least a 30-minute pullback, if not a 2-hour pullback at this point. I actually am kind of leaning towards just a 2-hour pullback at this point. I think this would be way too much time. It'd be way too much time to like do this, even flagging out, right? It would be way too much time to do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, right? It's just too much time. And you'd probably have to see like a 1, 2, 3 type of thing here. You'd probably have to see like boom, 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 then see that curl up. And that leads you into next week. So we'll see how it shapes up. It's possible. We're not saying it has to go how we want it to. But how it gets past, say, 328.50 is you need to pull back. You've seen these gaps, and now you're not seeing as big of a gap, right? You're coming back down to fill pretty early on. Tesla's a beast, though, man. That's why I don't mess with it. I don't mess with Tesla too often. I like to watch it for retail sentiment kind of thing. TTT trade or TT. Sorry, how many T's are there? TT Trader, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here. This is that kind of YOLO move that we talked about a little bit in the Patreon video. Okay, dude. Oh, shit. Damn it. We've got, I don't know why. Made me think like titty trader. Buying big pullbacks on Tesla. I'm a knife catching fool. The one day I chose IWM over the SPY. Sometimes it works like that. You see 590. This is a way to see 590, right? Hold above 585, see that continued positivity. One thing I would consider is for the SPY, like for the Qs, I think you're more likely to get to that weekly. Okay, you're there. You're at the monthly expected move from the Qs, right? So we immediately know decision making here. We immediately know. This is fantastic, by the way. And this could go further for the SPY to get to its monthly expected move, right? Its monthly expected move. But the Qs are there, okay? And you're at a daily move and a monthly move. We should see some resistance here. If we're going to need the SPY to get to the daily move or the monthly move, you can see the Qs extend for a bit of time. So now you're kind of looking for reversal signals here. Any kind of reversal signals here for a pullback. If we would make 30-minute signals here, I would like it. I would say that's the 2-hour pullback. It's just late in the week, which means down, right? That would mean that we're reading into this and we're not going to see positivity into the Friday. That's what that would mean, right? This is why I'm saying we kind of almost want to see like a big take profit, big rug pull look for the possibly even the 2-hour to pull down. Then you head to the upside again. Then you can maybe go to like 520 into next week. This might take too much time. We'll see. You'd have to see like a massive move. You'd have to see a pretty big drop here. Maybe it's just not, maybe I'm not timing it out right. This is why I'm glad I'm kind of sitting back, sitting on my hands a little bit. Because something's fishy here. And it's not just the sardines I fed the dogs last night, right? Smells a little fishy. I think if you go to 328.50, I think pulling back would be the most necessary thing. All bets are off right now, at least for me. Motor says pull back in 5 minutes. Let's see, when's Trump talking? When the hell's Trump talking, you know? It's good. It's bullish. It's not the bearish things that were being said all last week, is it? Cool. That's all right, M. Brew. Have a good day at work, bud. Dollar 5-day EMD is curled up and RSI only at 53. Still has a lot of room to run from there. I think you're right, but it's pulling back while everything's getting excited. You are just grinding it higher. Fucking hell. Oh, that's what I wanted. There we go. Look at volatility again one more time here. Volatility is still holding too. Still holding. Don't think max pain really matters. Friday max pain options 555 for SPY. Max pain rarely. I'm just, max pain rarely does. Like, max pain is never something that is absolutely helpful. You can keep an eye on it and like keep that into consideration, but no, you're max pain is never like I've never been like, oh yes, I need to check max pain before I take this trade, or oh shoot, I'm worried about this. Max pain is really going to help me right now. It's better to look at put walls, call walls. Call walls at 590. Call walls all the way up, honestly. Just not big one, not massive ones. The call wall at 585, that's why 590 is very possible today now, because you're holding above 585. But the reversal signal is showing up like now for volatility. It does not show the reverse signal very well on the 5 minutes, so we could see one more little 5-minute extension. See how we're kind of flagging-ish right now? We want to see that tip over and break through critical levels. But as of right now, you could just see this like leak out down to here, then curl back up, and then set the trap. That's what looks likely, but with this push, you can see a big sell come in at any point. So we'll be watching. As of right now, I'm watching volatility. The 5-minute looks like we could see some continuation as well, but the 30-minute is trying to confirm up right now. Let me get my moving averages back up for volatility here. There you go. Nothing from the reading. It's not price action. I think I called it price action last night. It's a reading. The reading is not confirming above any averages that I pay attention to, any moving averages yet. But you are holding the divergence on the RSI, you're holding the divergence on the MACD, and you're trying to confirm up before you're above the moving averages, which is it's a little bit like early for the MACD. I would like to see that at least get above, what's this, 1810. If we can close above 1810 in the next like 30 minutes, I would start to say, okay, watch out if we start to lose this low and start some kind of little 5-minute downtrend. Whether you like it or not, this push is different from this push, right? Why? It's still closer to the center line than the last time. Here we go. Let's see what happens. We're starting to lose that flagging a little bit. We could tap into that 585 again, though. Right in here. But now risk to downside starts to get magnified. 200, thank you so much for subscribing. Cheryl, thank you so much for subscribing. Pulls back this week. You're looking at 116. I like 116 personally. Like a mean pullback. But you have to be watching these areas, right? 116 is, the door is not open to 116 until you start to see things happen, right? You got to see this low broken. You got to see that resistance come in. You got to see this low broken. Then you got to see resistance come in again. Or you just cut through it, right? Ending up down here makes a lot more sense, like 117, 116. Somewhere in here makes a lot of sense. But for the time being, look where price is. So you're telling me you just know that you're going to cut through this? You don't know yet. And the 5-minute looks like that. Whoo! So that's very likely to do what? Find its room, right? Maybe retrace, then be able to curl up one more time and set the trap into later stages of the day. That would be very interesting and very trap-like from Nvidia. And I think the SPY could do the same thing. It just doesn't have as good of a MACD. Burn, baby, burn, burn. Yeah, the reason that 116 is so possible is because of the massively bullish move that you saw, Noah. I don't think 116, like, that's where you want it to get to. But since Nvidia has extended so much here, if you just look at this from the 30-minute perspective, if the 30-minute curled down and the market lost, say, like 2%, what would Nvidia do? Well, Nvidia would potentially give up this entire gain today. That means you might get potential news soon that gives up this entire gain. Like that's what kind of is reading into it. But does that say short? No, look how bullish that is, right? This is more just looking for the next bullish opportunity, whether it's here, whether it's all the way down here on the 2-hour. So you're looking here and here. Any price action you see as bullish here, hey, we can go make a new high. Any price action we see as bullish here, hey, we can go make a new high. That's how positive this move is for Nvidia. PR Manju, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you being here. No, 116 this week is still possible, though. It's actually probable, too. I would say price action is saying it is not nearly as probable right now, though. Yeah, so, yeah, Noah, that's the first point. That's the first place you pay attention. But these 30 minutes are so extended that if you just lose this, it's like, okay, we're going down to here. That's why it's like, are you losing that? No, you're not even close to losing it. You're still flagging, right? One little sell here, but look at that, it's catching itself. We'll see. You haven't even curled over the 5-minute yet, so you're looking for here if you're going to hold up better. You're looking for in here if you're going to hold up better. If you break this low, then you're probably going to retest this level and see that curl down again. You're looking for us to break that low by end of day. If this is going to start a downtrend, it's not downtrending right now, guys. So don't think any of that has to happen. The price action is still good. AMC holds above support trend today, $3 possible. I think AMC needs to get above $3 in the next 3 weeks. That's the truth of it. I think AMC needs to. I think AMC is doing what it needs to do. It's curled up. It's got divergence. It's ready to go. It's just not doing this. It needs to do this. It needs to take that back. If you're being honest here, it needs to get back above like 320 and then see a pullback and then curl back up. Not on the daily scale, probably like a 2-hour pullback and then go again. Actually, let's go 5-minute. We're liking looking at that. I'm liking watching this 5-minute for today. 393. Let's see if I agree. 393 is more than you need. Way more than you need, actually. You need like, that's a whole 10% more than you need. You need like 350 to have a chance of seeing a squeeze, like a massive squeeze. 350. Oh yeah, I think Nvidia is still a great investment over time. The only thing for me is like if we go through that bad period in like late stages 2025 or even 2026, we actually make a major top, like a major top. Yeah, my only thing with Nvidia is like it doesn't give dividend, right? So that's kind of rough. You think the test of 585 is now? I think it makes sense. Let me go use the restroom real quick so I can give you guys a solid last 10 minutes here and I'll be right back. All right. Who cares? Thanks so much for joining. Ooh, does it give you the pathway higher? Do we see a new high here? See a new high with a wick, that'd be good. Yeah, I ran to the bathroom, ran back. A little out of breath now. I need to work out more. I gotta do cardio. Fuck that. Let's trash talk Luke while he's gone. You guys should. My beaver teeth boy over here. Luis is thinking that 589 is a pretty solid top. I'd potentially agree with you. I want to see the 5-minute, how it shapes up. So we will be live later today. I need 580. 580 might be too much. That could signify a downtrend starting. I would say like 582 or 582 or 590. If 582 gets tagged all of a sudden, that would be kind of crazy. That'd be kind of crazy because then it could really be like if it holds up at 582, we could extend to 590 by end of day. That'd be wild. QQ 520. Your upside second move for the QQQ Patreon members, you should already have it. So saying 520 would be actually the next point to pay attention to would be about 520. If we're able to fully see the like most bullish thing for the day, that would be 520. So good number to call out. Good job. Very good. I like it. Good call out, Cool Haitian. That is a good level to watch. If you see that level tagged, it would say, man, you had a great fucking trade, man. Just saying. No cross down yet, even for that MACD. Holy crap, you might just keep continuing. That's so crazy. Dollar continuing to break down. That is a 5-minute, though. Be aware of that. I don't look at 5 minutes when I look at the dollar. Do you trade? No, I trade. I trade. I just more so, right now I'm in a period of patience. I think we could go up, but I think there will be an opportunity down. Look at that 5-day getting super extended from it. So I think the opportunity would be more down here. I mean, if it gives me some signs of shorting, I might dabble in a risk to reward play. But no, I'm really thinking of like, hey, this was a great trade, right? This was a great trade. Okay, now I'm kind of going, all right, bullish trades are going to be much easier. Sell the rips. Okay, sold the rip early. It continues. That's fine. Be patient. Wait for the dip. Then you buy the dip. So I'm looking for the buy the dip scenario. That's the way I'll get back into the market. If we just keep doing this, I'm not doing anything. Look, it built its own little shelf. I thought we'd have to go try 585 again. Damn. Glad I didn't take a trade for 585, right? Start learning everything. That's great, Cool Haitian. You're paying attention to that level. That's great. Like, shout out to you, man. Give the credit to yourself. You're the one who had to do the learning, right? Credit to you, my friend. Had some cool Haitian teammates. Wait, where's Ta at today? I gotta watch Ta's video or something, right? Gotta support my boy. Maybe I'll flip that on if I'm chilling. Nvidia broke 130. That is actually crazy. This thing is going ballistic. This thing is going ballistic. That's why you heard me say, like, I might risk to reward this for the fade, but I don't think I want to. It's too risky. It just continues for like all the way till earnings, and I'm just like, oh, well, shit out of luck there, right? So I'm not really inclined to take a position there just yet. Okay, no pathway higher just yet. We'll see. V might squeeze shorts. It already is. That is squeezing shorts at that point. Patreon members, you know when those levels get hit, especially like that, you know the shorts are getting squeezed. The squeeze has already like happened. It can continue to happen. It can keep happening, but it has happened so far. Just a boom. So congratulations if you were in the Nvidia move. If you had the balls to hold on to that through all those moves, that's a crazy move. Those runners, you might be liking them, right? Let's see, do we get the pathway higher? Oh, freaking A, my ear. Ear, ouch. Jeremiah, did you do it? Were you able to do it, Jeremiah? Because that's sick if you did. That's like you deserve a free sandwich. What if there's a way for me to like give online gift cards to people? That'd be sick. We might have to do a giveaway sometime. We should do a giveaway sometime. I'll have to think of a good giveaway. I wanted to make like a little like trader package where you get like a booklet or something like that. Your little trading book to write down your process, to write down your reasons and things like that. I think that'd be sick. Give away 1,000 shares of Bitcoin, that'd be sick. But if I was giving away 1,000 shares of Bitcoin, I would be on my yacht. Yeah, I think market makers are going to be pissed about this. Because people weren't shorting heavily into this move. People were calls, and people took calls into this move. Oh, did it? Did it monumental? Damn, I haven't paid attention to that for a bit. There's too much going on. Let's go. Let's actually check some of those. Let's check AMC. I'll look at AMC real quick. AMC started to tick up. That's usually the kind of like the go trigger type thing, right? And it curled up. It tried to go positive and it failed. Now you're seeing more positivity. Maybe that goes positive now. So AMC is suggesting like, hey, this is probably a moment. Let's check GME. And then I'll go look at your IVVD. GME kind of suggesting a similar thing, but a deeper point. You would want to see that scaling up a little bit more, but technically is there. It's not positive yet. And then you said IVVD. IVVD, is it able to go positive? Able to go positive right here on, and then it pulled back, but May 7th. These are suggesting possible upside moves, like short selling is about to increase for whatever reason. So you look for this kind of thing at like, if you're seeing topping signals or bottoming signals. So now that we have that confirmation a few days ago, we can look at IVVD and see if it had a reversal signal. It had, on that exact date, let's see, on the 7th, it triggered the higher low the next day on the 2 hour for 59 cents. And now it is up at almost, it went past $1. Yeah. So yeah, good. You're paying attention to it. I haven't paid attention to that for a little while. Those type of things. I've been doing too much over here. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. But it worked. It worked that time. My question is like, did Wolfie Boy show it back in the day? Wolfie Boy showed it too on April 28th. April 28th. See, that's where you started to see upside and then you started to consolidate. So you already had the upside there. Damn. Sorry, I'm just looking at my other screen. This, if we can make a new low here, that would be good. That means watch for 585. We did not show a peak above a new high. So price action wise, this is suggesting still, if you break this low, we can continue to see like probably like a 1 minute downtrend. I don't follow 1 minutes. I don't follow 5 minutes usually, but that's what we're in right now. Tesla, what do I think? I think a pullback is a way better opportunity from any level around 320 to 330 than trying to go long for 8 points when, Tesla has crazy implied volatility. I think you could catch that 8 points. See if we get the pathway higher still from the 5 minute, from the SPY. Like, people are like, hey, what's this? Is it an opportunity right now? I'm waiting for the, like, if you're being serious, everything that you guys asked me about that's seeing a big move, I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for this. I could wait this entire time. This was a great freaking trade. I am perfectly comfortable waiting for the entire end of the month and going into June to see if we see that. Because if we see that, that's going to be fantastic. If price wants to go higher than this, that's fine. Go higher. You're going to come back down to a level, then you're going to see that come in. I want to feel very, very good about the next trade. So I'm willing to be very patient for it. Now, I'm suggesting that I will take a trade if it gives it to me, right? I'll take the 2-hour swing if it gives me the 2-hour swing, right? But am I seeing a 2-hour swing shape up right now? Am I seeing that opportunity? No, I'm not. The 30-minute swing, I could take the 30-minute swing if I want to. I just have to be very tactical, very quick with it. And I think we're getting overzealous here. And so I'm kind of leaning towards 2-hour pulls back down to maybe even gap fill with how much positivity you're seeing, like a snap down. I would say 570 is where I'm really paying attention, but I am aware of the gap fill at 564. And then we talked about this on Patreon this morning, what I'm going to do down here. I'm not rushing to sell divergences for Nvidia. The paper handcuffs are no more. I would more so treat Nvidia as like, what is it hitting? It's hitting second standard deviation moves. It's outside of monthly moves, I believe. Like, that's just a crazy move that if you're in it, say thank you and just kind of be like, make sure you make profit. That's what it seems like to me. But thank you so much for the $4.99, Jeremiah. Appreciate it, buddy. Calls seem to be dropping off a bit for the SPY. Yeah, maybe less orders, but still the orders that are coming in are bullish, 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 bullish. What do we see during squeezes? What do we want? We want this to be a neutral to slightly maybe even bearish stance for the PCC so this can continue to squeeze. So as people are now going extremely bullish, the risk of this starts to come into play, right? And then you want to see people kind of remain bullish to neutral stance, and then you want to see that start to break down. If you want that pullback, right? This is all if you want the pullback. Right now, we're just squeezing. So we can squeeze, we can squeeze, we can squeeze. We can keep going. It's fine. Magic box man. Well, I've already stayed an extra 5 minutes. I went upstairs. Baby girl and mama, they're actually over at Abu's again. Over at Abuela's. So I have maybe I could probably reach out another 10 minutes here. This might be an intraday bull trap. That's my assessment. I'm not going to trade the bull trap. I don't think trading the bull trap. I mean, I think you could be successful with it, especially at these levels, especially anywhere towards 590. If you're giving yourself enough time, you understand it can leak out for some time, and the real pullback could come next week. You give yourself that amount of time. I don't think it's that bad. You're either going to see the 2-hour pullback now, or you're going to see a massive pullback next week, and that's how I see it for the time being. So you got to understand risk to reward plays, they cannot work out, right? You have to be paying attention to position size at that point. Position size is very important for a risk to reward play. I kind of treat it like a starter position. I'm thinking about doing that. Like I really am. I'm having fun account. We do the fun account? I'll do the fun account. I'll do the fun account, and if we make a little signal towards that 589.43, I'll look for it. If it doesn't shape up, it doesn't shape up. We need to, that fun account did too good, right? That fun account's doing too good now. We need to do something risky with it. I think 589 is where I'm more attracted to it. Right? At least give me a data point to give me the reason. MSCR Ra Mara. I don't deal with coins. These stars. I mean, yeah, they make sense. It makes sense. I know Mara has potentially a short seller problem. I think MSTR is just if you're gonna like MSTR is showing great positivity if you get in at the right time, but overall the whole strategy is like if you're buying $100,000 of MSTR, you're pretty much buying 50% Bitcoin. Like you're just getting less Bitcoin at that point because it is just a Bitcoin driven thing, and he just keeps. But I have a hard time believing the guy too because of what happened with his previous company. So I'm not the right person to ask too much about MSTR. I think MSTR, you can trade it like every other stock and heavily understand that is a heavy lean towards everything Bitcoin does. 124 strike, 2 contracts, expiration 530. See, like something like that, I don't think that's like horrible, but at the same time, you have to realize it is squeezing hard. Now, you're at that critical level where you can see a dump. So that play might work out for you very quickly. That play might get to 124 like now. But I would just look for it throughout the time, make sure the structure is still good, create a plan for if it goes wrong, right, Jomo? Yeah, I'll look at it at some point, Roro. I can look on my other screen at like MSTR. ROT, I didn't really look at too much. I haven't looked at like at all. MSTR I have. And MSTR is okay. So MSTR can continue the move. Let me make sure I'm seeing this right. Yeah, I think MSTR might continue the move for one more push, but look at the weakness and momentum for MSTR. Now you actually have it blatantly on the 2-hour. So that always tells you this starts to become like, hey, take my foot extremely off the gas. Because we are very likely to do what? Well, we showed we want to go higher than here. So now we might test into where? I would like it to test down into here. A daily pullback all the way down, maybe even deeper, right? It could go all the way down to 300, and then you could see that upside. This, I think, is the next opportunity for MSTR. Risky, but when you're looking at MSTR, you always got to check on Bitcoin, right? So that means Bitcoin on the 4-hour, which is why I think MSTR might continue for one more push, is I think the 4-hour here for Bitcoin could do this, right? And then we'll start to see that breakdown. That's what I think is going to happen for Bitcoin, and that's the daily pullback. So this is good. I still would like the 4-hour to extend maybe even see a wick show you a bigger price. Then you start to pull back. You see what you do around 94,000. And if you're going to get a mean pullback, you're looking anywhere from right here, 89.9K, all the way down to 85.85K. And that would just be a daily pullback. Yeah, you really haven't retested any critical levels just yet. So I think you could get a retest of any of them. Look here, look here, here, and here. And that means like MSTR is showing the 2-hour divergence. I think MSTR could continue one more push though. On Thursday, and Trump will also participate. What do you think about this? If we're going to see news like that, I hope we get the 2-hour pullbacks before. Let's put it that way. Why does it show the low as 564 today? I'm not seeing that on my stuff at all. I don't know what platform you're using or something. All right, we're able to hold price. What up, Legini? How you doing? Talk like Yoda. My stop is past 530. Higher risk trade. My stop is going to be, let me see. Up, I'm watching. Higher risk trade. Stop is going to be around 535. Then take its trigger down more than I put 800. My stop is past 535, but close. Yeah, Roro. Wanted to kind of go over that for a second because it is actually shaping something up. Let's see if the 5-minute like shows that peak up to go higher. Damn, I do not trust this though. So yeah, I'm sitting on my hands. You'll hear me say that a lot. I say that I talk out loud when I'm by myself too. I'm a weirdo. And I'll literally be like saying my analysis out loud when I'm alone. I'll be like, nope, don't do that stupid decision, Luke. Don't do it. All right, up there you can do the fun account, but make sure you're not, you actually built up the fun account now, so let's chill on that. Let's not use the whole thing, maybe. Missed out on 6K by selling calls yesterday. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had no idea. You had no idea. You had no idea. This was a possibility. This was not the most probable thing. So you had, I mean, you literally had no idea this was going to happen. Until here. Boom. New high, doesn't roll over, looks good, good confirmation. Boom. Daily expected move. Right? It's good decisions over time, right? Most of the time when you're at this area and you have these little things and the 30-minute, the 2-hour overextended, the daily's almost overextended, you're not going to see this most of the time. So if you would have made the opposite decision and it would have went the opposite way, you'd just be saying the opposite thing, right? Hey, Luke, been watching you for a debate. Hey, that's awesome, Mamba. I'm glad to hear that. We like messy. This push higher looks a little messy right now. Look for tags of weekly expected moves and things like that for stocks that are above them. Look for 30-minute pullbacks towards those weekly expected moves, if not lower. It just depends on if we're setting a big trap or a little trap. That's what it seems like to me. As far as Amazon goes, Amazon's showing worse things. Yeah, Amazon's showing weakness and momentum now. So where are you looking? You're looking right here, actually. 197.83. Yeah, I mean, really what you're looking for first is what price action does here. But if even like a 5 or 15 minute just goes like this and then shows you that pathway down, you're kind of looking for rejection, and that's the actual time where going down to 197 is likely, if not gap fill. I don't know. I don't really see news that could send it to gap fill now. Like same thing goes for Nvidia at like that 116. I don't know what news would come out or what news would be used for this, because that would be a huge drop from where you're at right now. I just think patience and letting the trade come to you right now is the best thing. Pathway is up. The pathway is definitely up still. Pathway's up. I don't know if the short trade is really the best decision. I would say just still long trades are the better decision. You're just being patient for pullbacks. VVIX actually positive. That's interesting. I'm gonna go look at that real quick, and then I'll probably have to hop off. What are you saying? You're not really trying to turn around. Yeah, you're not really trying to. Okay, yeah, you are trying to turn around just a little bit. How big of a reaction would that be from where it's at now? It looks like VVIX could go up like 8 or 9%. VIX could go up. The best case scenario is VIX goes up by more than 10%. Yeah, the best case scenario is actually the VIX goes up by like 20%. If you go up by 20% in a day, that would be fantastic. Okay, 5 minutes, just pulling back with time as of right now. No new high just yet. It peaked its head up. We want it to peak its head up again. Do you think tomorrow will be a down day? The probabilities and everything suggests it would be a down day. So I followed the probabilities, aka, yeah, I think tomorrow will be a down day. Mad theta decay. Facts. Oh, yeah, you're probably running into that. Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to do this too. Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, we're here reaching up. I went even more than I was supposed to, and then I went more than I was supposed to. So I got to hop off, guys, but I will be back later on today for the end of day live stream, okay? I would just say the cautious level for today is going to be 590, which is right outside of your daily expected move. So just be prepared for that type of level to get tagged today. If we're going to end up breaking down, you got to lose a lot of things to actually start that downtrend. So we'll be watching this later on today. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. I will be back later. I want to keep saying that so people know, like, if you're just joining, your new subscriber and things like that, we are going live in the last hour of the day. So look back to this channel or turn notifications on for an hour before the close, and I will be back on here to chat with you guys, okay? See you guys later. Peace out. Donald's saying I have to come back later, so I have to. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.